Innovators are observers. They pay careful attention to the world. With their eyes, with their ears, even with their nose, their senses, their touch, they're completely aware of what's going on around them, and it makes a difference. Let me give an example from GE Healthcare. Basically, the designer for the CAT scan systems was really good at what he did, and they built these fantastic systems that were deeply functional and worked perfectly. One day that designer was walking through a hospital, and he noticed in one of the rooms where these cool CAT scan machines were, a 7 or 8-year-old kid who was crying, really crying, because he was so afraid of getting inside of that machine. It influenced the designer so deeply of that machine that he realized, we've got to do something different. 80% of the kids who were getting into their machines had to be sedated because it was so scary. So they went out and did their homework. They made observations. They went to a children's museum. They went to preschools and watched children at play and watched how they approach things. And all the while they're trying to figure out, what do places do that calm children down and make them more comfortable when they're in an experience? Well, here was their idea. In one room, they turned it into a pirate's room. They painted it like a ship. They had a smell that was like coconut oil in the air. The staff who was bringing the child into that CAT scan room acted as if they were a pirate going onto a ship. The CAT scan machine itself was painted like a pirate ship with a wheel and different things and a plank to walk and so on. And instead of 80% sedation rates, this incredibly inviting environment had 20% sedation rates. It completely reversed it. The kids were comfortable there. It was an incredible process where observation created real insight to a situation. In South Africa, at Cedar Citrus, somebody who's working not in a management or professional role necessarily, Andries Fixter, was tasked with watching the citrus groves, the orange trees, to make sure that nothing problematic happened to them. Well, one day, he's noticing that the baboons who love to steal things in South Africa were stealing the oranges. He watched the patterns, he watched where they were stealing the fruit from, he paid attention, he was like an anthropologist noticing things, and he realized over time they were taking fruit from the same tree over and over and over. He finally went over to the tree, he got up close, and he looked at the tree and he's like, this is not right. The tree fruit was all green, it was not ripe. Not just right, it was not ripe, it didn't look good. But the baboons were liking it, so he pulled one of the fruits off. Opened that orange up, and as soon as he opened the orange up, he could smell the sweetness of it. When he tasted it, it was incredibly juicy, one of the best oranges he ever had. That simple observation that was systematic, then he took to his boss, and this was the moment of truth about observation. Will his boss listen to the idea? He told him about the situation, they talked about it, then they did some more exploration, and they figured out what was going on with the tree. It was an early ripening tree. The fruit looked green, but it was ripe. And what they did was create an incredible competitive advantage because it ripened 1 month shorter than the rest of the fruit trees in that part of the world. And as a result, instead of having 1 growing season, Cedar Citrus got 2 growing seasons. That's competitive advantage. Observation is the key to getting new ideas. There's a really important question to ask ourselves or others. What was unexpected? What was surprising in the observation we just made? It might be visiting with a customer, might be a supplier, might be in the way in which work is done within our own workspace. But if we're paying attention, we will see surprises. We'll see the unexpected. And then we can transform those surprises into new ways of doing things.